Christian poetry night, which I am hosting. I also do spoken word. I
know you got skills like that?
You know, when we drop a little 16 real quick.
You know, hold on. Ladies and gentlemen, you cannot come in here and with that one. Hold on. And since
what did I do?
Since it has to do with church, we're going to give you this right here. Oh, okay. So here we go. Give us some spoken word.
Ebony woman named Ebony, making windows ebony, at Tint My Ride 804, a representation of an ebony business. You know, Ebony's business. Yeah, they think they know Ebony's business, but Ebony's business is focused on this new love connection she got. She found a new man. She's obsessed with him. She even idolizes him. His name is Jesus. And like Christ, I must be about my Father's business. You know, my Father's business. That's how I got started in this business. Yes, it's a divine love in my business. Why they want to know my business? My most frequently asked question, what made you start doing this? A constant reminder of my why. And that my ebony business isn't even about me. This is about Black legacy and Black representation for generations to see how to show up in the world. So my best business advice to you is to be the best you. Shine love and light in everything that you do, because it's in you to change what your legacy will have to go through. Generational curse breakers, or let's just say, Black history makers. Thank you.
When Ebony Jones walk in, this is what's playing. You better believe it. That's what the program is. It's the best business show. But when Ebony walks in, the champ is here. The champ is here. Okay, we ain't getting carried away here. All right, so here, when you put that piece together, did you know, is it done when you're done? Like, what's the inspiration behind that?
You know, I never really looked at myself as somebody who was going to, like, do poetry for people. I always would write how I felt. So I would just write how I would feel. And I would perform for my sisters and my mom because I knew they knew me. And I never thought that other people would understand what I was trying to say because I felt I was just writing how I felt. So, like, only if you knew me, you would understand what I'm saying. Until they was, like, encouraged me to go and do open mics and stuff. So that's what encouraged me to reach out to my church to say, hey, can I host an open mic to let people come up and express their art and things? And so that's really what it came about. But when I write, I just write how I feel.
So I ask people, I'm not a writer or a journaler. I'm not that person. So when my mom passed away, I wrote all this stuff down. And when I went back and read it, I'm like, whoa. Do you read what you write after? You do?
Yeah, like these poems I wrote years ago. But I've been living since I wrote them. And now there's certain things that are starting to make sense that I didn't understand at the time. I just had the language for it because I would be in church. So I would hear these things in church and I would write about myself and what I heard in church. And then as life went on, I started to live out these words. And like you said, you go back and you reflect and you're like, wow, like this is wow. Yeah, it's a prophetic gift.
So so when I asked you about the church shout out, so I'm down on Belt Boulevard and I'm at this nonprofit. And the guy says to me, he says, hey, the Mormons came and they gave us money and they gave us equipment. I'm like, all right, that's cool. Yeah. So a couple weeks later, the Chesterfield Library is here and the man's in here. And I say, and he's talking and he says, well, my church. I'm like, excuse me, sir, you can't do that. He's thinking I'm going to say, we can't talk about church in here. I'll say, no, you got to do a church shout out. Now, it is a Caucasian gentleman. So, you know, he looks at me like, oh, what's a church shout out? Well, it's when you say your church and you tell us who the church is and sort of the pastor. And he still doesn't get it. So I said to him, what church do you belong to? He said, the Church of the Latter-day Saints. I'm a Mormon. I'm like, oh, Lord. Now I got to explain a church shout out to a Mormon.
Yeah.
And so when I do, you know, I told him there is a reason that you are here today. 2 weeks ago, I was down on Belt Boulevard, and they told me your church gave them money. 2 weeks later, you're standing in my studio. How many? I probably have seen you 20 times over the years.
No, for real.
I never knew that part.
Yeah.
I just knew the girl was out there tinting windows, and everybody said she got it going on.
Thank you.
Never knowing that it's that part that's driving. So when a young person sees you or older person sees you, not only are you bringing a Tint in my windows business side, you're also talking to their soul.
Yeah, got to.
Got to.
I got saved the same year I started my business. I didn't even believe in Jesus prior to me getting saved. Like, I didn't think he was, like, real. And then I started the business on accident, what I call an accident, and in February of 2020, by November 2020, I was saved.
How did you know with the business side when you had something and you're like, okay, I got this thing right here. This is serious.
When I started winning the awards.
You even got some hardware.
Yeah.
And I've been in the rooms when you got it.
Yeah.
Really quick. Okay, so really quickly, tell us some of the things that you know, the accolades that you have had.
So, God be the glory. I've been awarded Young Entrepreneur of the Year by the Metropolitan Business League 2023. I also won their pitch competition, Bring Your A Game. I was the grand prize winner for that. I've also became their Member of the Year 2024. Accolades outside of that, I won the first government contract for window tinting for on-site vehicles. I can't say the government.
You can't say it. That's right. We ain't talking. We don't kiss and tell around here.
Yeah. That was their first contract ever being sent out, and I won it, and I've been awarded that contract. So that was another win for 2024.
I tell people when they walk into the Mike King Biz studio, you never know who you're going to meet here. You never know who's going to be in studio. So you came here today. Other people were coming here today that you did not know.
I didn't know.
And all of a sudden, what happens when you walk into the studio?
I see Paula and Tim, and I know them prior to because I tinted Paula's family's cars. And I was also asked to give them a quote to see about possibly tinting the storefront windows on their event space that they just recently launched as well. So I actually already knew them prior to because of business.
What is it talking about knowing the right people?
Oh, wow. Connections are everything. And I love social media. It's what got me started. But my biggest wins never came from social media. Came from word of mouth and connections, being in rooms with people.
I always say, my father would always say, I don't care who you know. I don't give who you know. It's who knows you. Mm-hmm. When I walk into a room and people are like, who? Or I call them like, hey, this is Mike King. And they say, who? That's the person who don't know you. Every time I'm someplace, how many people bring you up to me saying?
I was going to say, you're inspirational as far as, like, promotion. Like, you're on it. Like, you're everywhere.
It's called beating starvation.
And don't let up. Like, you're, like so humble, too. Like, because you have, like, and congratulations on your nomination as well.
Thank you.
I will be at the awards show.
We're going to have a good time there.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited.